the silent war within. What is the silent war within? Before we begin, welcome to the Victory Motivation, winning mindset channel, where mental strength fuels your success and struggles are turned into comebacks. Sit back and relax. Like, share, and hit the subscribe button to join our winning community, the silent war within. Every morning, a silent battle begins, not between armies, but inside your mind. You wake up, you go through routines, you scroll, you hesitate. 1,000 tiny decisions layer upon one another until the hour drifts away and you realize the day has run you, instead of you running it. Some call it laziness, some call it procrastination, but scientists call it what it really is, a battle for control between two brains. The ancient one, deep inside your skull, that craves safety and comfort, and the evolved one, the prefrontal cortex, that seeks growth, challenge, purpose. In 2001's PBS documentary Secrets of the Mind, neuroscientist V.S. Ramachandran explored what happens when these systems fracture. He studied patients who had lost limbs, yet still felt their missing hands. A haunting illusion called the phantom limb. He discovered something extraordinary. The brain rewires itself. It can adapt, reshape, rebuild maps of control and sensation, even when reality changes. Think about that. If the brain can literally reorganize itself after physical loss, what can it do after mental defeat? What can it rebuild after heartbreak, failure, or years of self-doubt? The truth is staggering. Most of your mind's decisions happen without your awareness. You believe you're choosing, yet as researchers from the Max Planck Institute for Human Cognitive and Brain Sciences found, your brain may decide up to 7 seconds before you consciously know it. That means your mind is already shaping your future before you've even opened your mouth or made your move. So the real question isn't, can you win? You already can. The question is, do you train your mind to fight the battle it's already in? Because every winner I've met, every person who transcended average and built an unshakable life, they all discovered the same truth. The mind is your most powerful weapon, and if you don't train it, it trains you. You don't fail because you're unlucky. You fail because you never drilled the muscles of your mind. You lose not because someone else was stronger. You lose because you treated your mind like a passenger, not the pilot. In 2014, a study by Angela Duckworth at the University of Pennsylvania revealed that the greatest predictor of success wasn't IQ, talent, or opportunity. It was grit. The ability to stay the course, resist impulse, and keep moving forward despite the storm. And that grit doesn't come from luck or genetics. It comes from mental training, from the repetition of tiny habits that rewire thought patterns, one conscious choice at a time. Now imagine this. What if you had access to the same mental conditioning techniques used by Navy SEALs, Olympic athletes, and high-stakes entrepreneurs? What if you could build a system for your mind, one that doesn't depend on motivation, but on structure? Picture a morning where you wake not with anxiety, but with focus, where instead of scrolling, you breathe. Instead of reacting, you decide. Where every action, from how you speak to how you walk, radiates clarity. That's not fantasy, that's neuroplasticity. The same phenomenon Ramachandran uncovered 2 decades ago. Your brain is rewiring every day. The only question is, who's doing the programming? You or the world? In an interview, Michael Phelps once said, "Before I ever got in the pool, I had already won the race in my mind." That wasn't arrogance. It was mental conditioning. His coach, Bob Bowman, taught him visualization so intensely that Phelps could feel every stroke, every breath, every second before it happened. He wasn't just training muscles. He was rehearsing victory. Every champion trains twice, once in the mind, once in reality. And that's why most people never win. They show up for the second part and skip the first. They grind without clarity, push without direction, and wonder why they're exhausted but not fulfilled. The war you fight every morning isn't against time, people, or circumstances. It's against the part of you that whispers, later. It's against the reflex that seeks comfort instead of challenge. It's against the neural pathways carved by years of repetition that tell you who you used to be, not who you're becoming. Every morning, you either reinforce those old patterns or you replace them. You either train your mind or it trains you. You either rise or you remain. This is where winners begin. This is how champions win in silence. No applause, no spotlight, just you, your thoughts, and the decision to not surrender to the mind's easiest voice. But one difference separates those who rise from those who stay stuck: how they train their minds. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, I'll show you how the mind of a winner is built. The daily systems, the mental drills, the focus rituals, and the strategic thinking that turn ordinary people into unstoppable forces. You'll see how every decision rewires you, how every pause strengthens your discipline, and how your mind, when trained, can outlast fear, fatigue, and doubt. By the end of this journey, you won't see your mind as your limit. You'll see it as your launch pad, because true victory doesn't happen in the world first. It happens here, in silence, in thought, in the invisible war you fight every morning. And the moment you win that, you've already won everything. What makes a winner's mind different? You've heard it said, winners think differently. But what does that actually mean? Most people react. Winners respond. Most people are moved by emotion. Winners are guided by strategy. The average mind looks for comfort. The winner's mind looks for clarity. It's not that champions don't feel fear, doubt, or fatigue. They do. They just don't stop there. They move through it. And that's the defining difference. Average minds are emotional. Winner minds are strategic. They don't ask, "How do I feel?" They ask, "What's required right now?" They don't wait for motivation to act. They act until motivation catches up. That's not arrogance. It's discipline. And discipline is what bridges the gap between intentions and results. In 1995, Michael Jordan was asked how he stayed consistent through slumps and pressure. He said, "I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life. And that is why I succeed." When Jordan trained, he didn't train for the game. He trained for the moments his emotions would betray him. He rehearsed fatigue. He practiced precision while tired, accuracy while exhausted, focus when frustrated. Because he knew, under pressure, you don't rise to the occasion. You fall to the level of your training. And mental training is no different. Winners don't wait for a good day to think clearly. They build clarity, deliberately, repetitively, relentlessly. Look at Navy SEALs during Hell Week. 5 days of no sleep, freezing water, mental exhaustion beyond breaking point. You'd think their success depends on physical strength, but it doesn't. It's mental control. Former SEAL commander Jocko Willink once said, "Discipline equals freedom." When you decide that emotion will no longer control your action, you've taken your first step toward freedom. During SEAL training, instructors don't just test your body. They break your comfort, strip your certainty, crush your rhythm, and then they watch. Who stays calm in chaos? Who keeps thinking when everything screams, "Quit"? That's the real test. Because when you can think clearly under chaos, you stop being a victim of circumstance and start being the architect of your outcome. The CEO mindset. In business, the same truth repeats itself. Winners don't chase the market. They position themselves before it moves. They don't react to pressure, they prepare for it. Elon Musk, for example, doesn't just build companies. He builds mental frameworks for impossible problems. When asked how he solves challenges others call unthinkable, he said, "I think in terms of first principles, not analogies. I reason from the ground up, from what's true, not from what others have done." That's how strategic thinking. It's the ability to detach from emotion long enough to think clearly, to see not what is easy, but what is possible. Every winner shares this pattern. They think strategically, not emotionally. They've trained the mind to pause before panic, to plan before reacting, to stay intentional when others spiral into noise. Neuroscientists call this process metacognition, the ability to observe your thoughts rather than be consumed by them. When you can step back from your emotion, you shift from survival mode to strategic mode. That's the winner's secret. They don't silence their mind. They master it. They repeat thoughts of strength until weakness has no space left. Every repetition builds a neural connection. Every thought is a representative. And just like the gym, the mind gets stronger where you train it. Think about this. If you repeat excuses, you build the neural pathway of avoidance. If you repeat hesitation, you reinforce indecision. If you repeat focus, clarity, and discipline, you hardwire strength. Your thoughts are repetitions. What you repeat, you become. Every soldier who survives war knows this. Every athlete who breaks a record understands it. Every entrepreneur who stays alive through failure has lived it. It's not willpower that wins, it's wiring. And the more you train your thoughts to act with discipline, the less emotion has power over you. In one experiment at Stanford University, psychologists found that the brain releases dopamine, the same chemical linked to pleasure, not only after achieving a goal, but also during the pursuit of it when a person feels progress. That means your brain can be trained to crave discipline the same way it craves comfort. And that's the science of transformation. Not fighting your brain, but reprogramming it. You can literally make focus feel rewarding and distraction feel unrewarding. Winners understand this. They don't rely on emotion. They engineer it. They condition their minds the way athletes condition their bodies, through consistency, pressure, and repetition. When fatigue comes, they've rehearsed focus. When doubt whispers, they've practiced confidence. When chaos strikes, they've trained calm. They don't hope for strength, they install it. Every morning, while the world snoozes through comfort, somewhere, a winner is training thought. Not scrolling, not reacting, just rewiring. One focused repetition at a time. They know victory isn't a one-time event, it's a practiced mindset, forged in private, revealed in public. And if you look closely, you'll see the same rhythm in every great mind. The soldier, the athlete, the leader, the artist. They repeat thoughts of strength until weakness has no space left. Because the difference between average and extraordinary is not an opportunity, it's in repetition. Your thoughts are repetitions. What you repeat, you become. So when you wake tomorrow, before the noise, before the rush, before you reach for your phone, remember this: the battle isn't out there. It's right here, inside. And every thought you choose is either training your weakness or building your strength. Winners simply choose better thoughts, again and again, until their mind becomes unstoppable. Every morning, a silent battle begins. Now you know how to win it. When the world sleeps, you rise. When fear speaks, you listen, but you don't bow. When doubt whispers, you answer with action. You are not the product of your past. You are the architect of your future, and your greatest victories won't be shouted. They'll be lived. So when tomorrow comes and the battle begins again, remember this: the mind is your battlefield. The thoughts are your soldiers, and discipline, that's your weapon. Use it, sharpen it daily, and no matter how many times the world tries to shake you, stand your ground. Because once you master the mind, you master the moment. And once you master the moment, you master your life. If this message found you when you needed it, subscribe, because your victory begins in the mind. The mind is the battlefield. Win it, and you win everything. If this message lit a spark in you, don't let it fade. Like this video as your reminder that growth begins now. Share it to pass the fire forward, and subscribe to this channel, because your evolution isn't coming, it's already begun. Remember, your mind is the battlefield. Win it, and you win everything.